I finally bought the abandoned mountain house no one wanted. People said it was a bad idea, too isolated, too quiet. But I saw potential where others saw problems, and I was ready to turn it into something incredible. The previous owner disappeared years ago. No one really knew why, but the price was unbelievably low, almost suspicious. Still, I didn't care. I had a plan. The first time I stepped inside, it felt like the house was watching me. Dust everywhere, silence too heavy to ignore, but nothing that couldn't be fixed. It needed work. A lot of it, broken floors, cracked walls, old wiring. But I've handled worse before. This was just another project. I started cleaning immediately. No delays, no second thoughts. This place was going to be mine, every inch of it. A week later I came back with tools, ready to begin full renovation. That's when things started to feel off. Something wasn't right. There were police cars outside my house, lights flashing in the middle of nowhere. I froze for a second, confused. This made no sense. 2 officers were already there, talking like they owned the place. I walked up slowly, trying to stay calm, but I knew something was wrong. Then she showed up, the HOA president, and the first thing she said was, "You need to leave, right now." I thought she was joking. This was my property. I had the documents, the keys, everything. But her face said she wasn't playing around. "I own this house," I said firmly. They looked at me like I was crazy. The papers in my hand were proof enough. Yet, the tension didn't fade. She shouted over the officers, "This isn't legal. You can't just take over." I stayed calm. I knew I had every right. The officers whispered among themselves. It was clear they were unsure. I had documentation, and I wasn't leaving. I decided to stay calm. No yelling, no threats. I would let logic win, and this house was mine. Her anger was visible. She couldn't believe someone dared challenge her. Her authority was being tested, and she hated it. I smiled slightly. Confidence is contagious. I wasn't intimidated. This was my property. Finally, she stormed back to her car. The officers followed reluctantly. I was left standing alone. Victory for now. Once they left, I stepped inside. The house felt peaceful again. The renovation could finally start, and I knew I'd transform it. I started measuring every corner, every beam, every floorboard. Nothing would be overlooked. Perfection was my goal. As the sun set, I looked outside. The mountains glowed orange. This was more than a project. It was a dream coming alive day by day. I worked tirelessly. The roof was next. Each nail, each plank mattered. Slowly, the cabin came alive. Unbeknownst to me, she was still watching. Every move was being tracked. I had to be careful, but I refused to be intimidated. The inside began to transform. Fresh paint, clean floors, new light. The cabin felt alive again, and it felt like home. Every detail mattered, every screw, every hinge. I was building more than a house. I was building my legacy. She couldn't believe I was progressing. She called someone urgently. Her frustration was growing, but I didn't care. Windows replaced, floors polished, walls painted. The house finally looked alive. The work paid off, and every step was mine. The officers drove by cautiously. She glared, frustrated, but nothing could stop me now. The cabin was mine. I stood on the porch, looking at what I had accomplished. The silence was mine, and the view, perfect. She came back one last time, pointing, shouting, trying to intimidate me. I held my ground. She realized she lost. I hired a local contractor. Teamwork made everything faster. I wanted this place perfect, and the community slowly accepted it. Furniture arrived, lights installed. Every corner looked new. The cabin finally felt lived in, and I loved it. She finally understood. Her threats had failed. I had the law and truth on my side, and nothing else mattered. The first morning alone, I felt peace. No interruptions, no threats. Just me, the cabin, and nature. I had earned this. From above, the cabin looked amazing. Every detail restored perfectly. The mountain retreat was complete, and my dream came true. Friends visited, amazed at the transformation. We laughed, we celebrated. It was more than a house. It was a home. She finally drove away, her anger unresolved. But I didn't care anymore. Victory was mine. Standing at the entrance, I felt proud. Every effort had paid off. No one could take this from me, not even the HOA. The cabin glowed warmly inside, every corner inviting and peaceful. Finally, my mountain retreat, a safe, private mine. I explored the forest, the trails, the river nearby. Every step reminded me why I chose this place. It was perfect by the fireplace. I reflected. The challenges, the threats, the work, everything led to this moment. Pure satisfaction. Night fell, and the cabin shone, peaceful, serene, untouchable. I finally felt at home. My work was complete. I double-checked every detail, every renovation perfect, every plan executed. Nothing left to chance. My dream retreat was flawless. She realized she couldn't interfere anymore. All her arguments were useless. I had won fair and square. Finally, peace. Porch set up, lights strung, chairs placed. Evenings were perfect here. I could finally enjoy the mountain air. No interruptions, no conflicts. Even my dogs loved the new forest trails, open spaces, safe environment. This was the life I dreamed of, and I earned it. Barbecue evenings with friends became regular. Laughter echoed in the mountains. This was more than a house. It was memories in the making. She finally left the area for good. Her authority defeated. I had the last laugh. The cabin was mine forever. Sunrise over the mountains felt magical. Every struggle, every effort, worth it. I owned my dream, and no one could take it away. From above, the cabin looked perfect, quiet, serene, untouched. Every decision, every step led here. Finally, peace. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real HOA drama. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? This house was my dream, my victory. And now, it's finally mine. This house was my dream, my victory.